So we're going to work our way now into ideas based on what's rotating now and the group. But before we do that, I want to hop on over into this list. And you can actually grab this in the description below. You can actually download your own copy. So what you want to do is you want to go over here to File, and you want to either go to Make a Copy, or you want to go to File and Download and pop yourself in there as a PDF. So you can get this entire document right now by clicking down into the description below the video. So obviously we want to talk about sector rotation, right? The one sector to rule them all, which is the sector we just took a look at, which is the semiconductor stocks, right? But again, there's news on Micron today dragging this group down. So now we got a bearish catalyst. We need profit taking up in that area, pulling back a little bit, right? So working our way deeper into sector rotation here, double-digit gains for some of these stocks, just these four. Double-digit gains over the last 5 days. So remember, if we're about to place a trade, what's likely to happen next if I choose to accept risk? That's the big thing. Beautiful charts for 2 weeks, but those companies got hit this weekend by bearish news. So it's once again time to rotate into fresh ideas. So what we're talking about here is sector rotation. So as strong and as beautiful as these stocks are this week, right now, as of this moment, there's a good chance we're going to avoid them this week, or at the very least today, and look for other ideas, okay? Now, additional news from overseas hit last week's second hottest sector. So now you see we're taking advantage of obvious order flow. Is it still valid? There's a difference between it's obvious and right now it's a good idea, okay? Google, Meta, Netflix, Spot, and LYV, which I don't know if you've traded this one recently as well. Give all the credit to John Bates in our community calling this one out. Actually, again, another earnings play. You can actually see here is where earnings popped, and this has been the move since earnings, right? Another double-digit gain there. Let's continue. All right. So Meta, one of those stocks that have been grinding higher, actually an amazing move. I think it's 176% move or something like that since November when it was down in the 80s. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. And obviously now you got to consider whether or not this is something you're going to be wanting to look at today. A record $1.3 billion over EU data in the US. So that's another piece of news you need to know for today. So what's the point of all this, right? All the point of this is teaching you that all these stocks that were on fire for a period of time, way beyond the optimal entry, and now we also have bearish news coming out, all right? So the challenge we have now is one of concentration. As in the majority of the market's advance was supported by this small group of large cap stocks and even to a bigger degree, semiconductor stocks. So the thesis for the coming week is one of leadership. So again, the coming week is the week that we're about to hit, heading into Memorial Weekend, right? The only other dominant moves you've seen for the prior 4 weeks are bearish, coming in the form of energy and basic materials. So if we take a look over here, this is the last 4 weeks. All of this yellowish tone, tan, whatever you want to call it, means that over this 5-day period, nothing significant happened. The only thing that was significant we saw was energy and technology over the last 4 weeks. And if we work our way down in here even more, basic materials have been weaker as well. We don't really trade utilities that much. So really over the last 21 days, energy and basic materials are the bearish side of things. So what does that mean? That means for me, again, everything we do is for educational purposes. You got to make your own decisions. I'm hoping I can help you make better decisions. It means these technology stocks and swing trade profits on these technology stocks, I am moving my trailing stop loss up higher. And the sectors that were weaker, if selling comes into the market this week, I am shifting over into these areas that already had bearish order flow and what we also would call relative weakness to the market, that if the market goes down, then those stocks would actually be the most likely to have the biggest moves down because they were already weak when the market was strong. Okay, so you see how we're putting the pieces together. This is actually what I do for everybody every day. We're putting the pieces together. What's the market doing? What sectors are doing? What industries? And which stocks are at optimal entries? That's the whole part of the process, right? So if we continue to work our way through today's newsletter, industrials, obviously, industrials, again, if you haven't traded General Electric for the last 8 months, I think we've been pounding the table on this thing for the better part of since October. Really, this bottom pattern right here, and then the subsequent pause after just before earnings, this stock is just, go back to watch all of our videos. GE has been in our list for a while now, but let's take a little bit deeper look into some of the industrial stocks. We actually had Boeing as probably one of the stronger stocks that joined GE last year. Hasn't done anything for 8 weeks. It's actually been stuck in the middle of nowhere. But you can see how powerful is this when you understand sector rotation and have a strategy to put these pieces together. We just showed you General Electric. We're now looking at Boeing and all of this list of stocks, industrial stocks during that period of time. All right. Industrials carried the last 4 months, looks worthy of a new watch list. But here's the stocks that we're watching now. Of course, General Electric, BLDR has now been at all-time highs or at or near all-time highs for the better part of the last few weeks. And Delta Airlines broke out of an 8-week trading range. So not as big of a list, but stocks that are performing well in that particular sector. So going market sector industry stocks, ultimately going to average true move, which will then give us optimal entry. So the other one was UAL, which you can see here finally popped out of this multi-week trading range, going all the way back into the middle of March. So almost about a month and a half now. And you can see it's got reasonable room to go up to this 54 level. That would be the next level I'm looking at up over here. Consumer cyclical, nice gains on the back of Amazon and Tesla, but that was very short term. Amazon has resistance only a few dollars above, and Tesla only a few days of bullish order flow. So what this is implying here, I'm going to highlight that for you so when you download it, you'll have it. Only a few days of bullish order flow means there is not stacked order flow. As a matter of fact, last earnings report for Tesla was not awesome. Last week, it happened to rally with the rest of the market when the market took off. And if we take a look at Amazon, again, which has been in our list pretty much every day, you could actually see that there is some selling pressure over here, not that far above. So what does that mean? Again, talking about pick a side, pick a spot. If Amazon has been strong for a couple of weeks, but now it's coming up to an area where the last time the stock got to this price, sellers held the offer, that's the trading floor terminology, and pushed it down from 120 down into 80. So now Amazon, although it's bullish, it's coming up to an area where it's used up a lot of its average true move or its profit potential. So even though Amazon looks good, it's a better trade for me over 120, where then beyond 120, we could be looking at possibly move up to 148. So again, now these are the conversations every day that we have in the community and every day in the game plan is where should we be allocating money now? We constantly want to put our money to work, constantly want to put it to work. And that means order flow, tape reading, optimal entry. After the optimal entry, then we shift over into what we call the profit maximizer, which is two different ways of managing profitable trades. One of them in a momentum type market, which we've been in recently, or a trending type market or a trending type scenario like we've had in semiconductor stocks. So again, understanding how and when to use a certain type of trailing stop loss is a very important part of trading. Again, raise your hand if you've ever held a profitable trade too long and it pulled back. That's just because you didn't recognize the market conditions. That was all that was available at that moment. Or have you got out of a good trade too soon and you didn't recognize that was an amazing scenario? Maybe the market, the sector, the group, and that individual stock had great price action. And you should have not only held that stock, but even looked for a spot to add to that trade. All right. So these are the kind of little things that go into the difference between I know charts, I know every chart pattern in the world, versus you actually understand the steps to managing trades, both winning trades and losing trades. That's actually a big part of it too, is keeping those losses small, if not staying in cash.